So the title here, Beware the Social Media Expert. There's no such thing. So I know that you guys have maybe heard of these experts who go around and preach these seminars and say they know it all. But what I think it is, and like the real world, I believe in doers, not experts. People that have done campaigns using social media and been successful at it. So that's what the presentation is here called, Beware the Social Media Expert. Before I went any further, I want to just talk a little bit about my background and why Jeff said, hey, come and speak. Shaun Tai, I'm the founder and executive director of a local nonprofit called Oakland Digital. I'm also the principal of ZTY Media. We do a lot of new creative stuff, just like this video guy filming here. So we do a lot of filming of technology experts and interviewing as well. I also co-started Pushing the Bay TV, which is a rap series that I started in 2006 with Ray Love, who grew up with Tupac. So that's kind of my journalistic background there. And we interviewed every rapper in the Bay from 40 to Too Short, drew down all the 90s veterans, Clyde Carson, like 300 artists. So that's why I think Jeff wanted me here, just to give some background there. Education-wise, I have a master's in architectural and urban design. So I'm actually an architect by trade, but practiced that for 6 months and I didn't like it. I have a BS in advertising, which was part of the mass comm department at San Jose State. And I also have a bachelor's degree in digital graphics, graphic design. So that's my background. You guys can check out my website, shauntai.com, later. Here's some people that I've interviewed. Anyone know any of these people?
No.
No? Okay. The guy in the top left is Ed Catmull. He runs a company called Pixar. So I actually interviewed him for the Argentinian version of CNN, which is called Wobi TV. So I'm down with John as far as video guys are important. The middle guy, when I actually was contracted at Facebook for 6 months, the first person I interviewed was this guy, filmed, was Mark. The guy on the top right, I did an interview with for my mentor, Andreas Wagen. His name is Reed Hoffman. Anyone know who he is? Does anyone use LinkedIn? He's the CEO of LinkedIn. Too Short, which, Bay Area veteran, rap veteran. I was actually the social media journalist for the Golden State Warriors in 2010. And it was the first ever NBA social media venture that they did called Tweety-A-Day. And I, of course, interviewed Jeremy Lin. And so if you Google search Tweety-A-Day 2010, that's my video. And then finally, another artist that I've interviewed that I had fun touring with, Shock G of Digital Underground. So these are kind of that's my background. It's like tech, urban, creative, fun. That's just who Shaun Tai is. That's who I am. So I'm going to give 5 quotes, kind of talking points today. And the first is, there's no such thing as a social media expert. And so if you ever update your LinkedIn, don't say you are. Because really, what makes an expert? I mean, everyone uses Twitter for the most part, or Facebook. Everyone uses Facebook. Some of you may use Twitter. Professionally, you guys should use LinkedIn. But there's new social media, new media coming up every day. So unless you have a campaign of 20 million views, and which Pushing the Bay actually did, and I still don't call myself an expert, I'm just a guy that loves to create great content about some really interesting people. So I think taking it more from a humble approach of you're a doer of social media is the right way to do it. And anyone, raise your hand and stop me at any time if you have questions. The second thing is find your niche, form the team, and execute. So what do I mean by that? Find the niches is don't start something that's already been done, right? For me, it was Ray Love coming up to me saying, you're good at the tech and creative stuff. I have connections in the Bay Area for pretty much any rapper. So I thought, why don't we form this team, this partnership, and go into the community and just create some great stuff with the little camera. And in 1 year, we had 18 million views. Now we have 25 million aggregate views. And it's there forever. So I don't even do Pushing the Bay anymore, but you can YouTube that and you'll see us down in Hollywood, BET, and MTV, working with a lot of great people. But it all started from this quote of just finding that niche, which was Pushing the Bay. How do we elevate the 90s Bay Area rappers to gain some momentum again? Forming the team of someone else that's better at something than you are. Another quote that I have when I do my entrepreneurship speeches are surround yourself around people that are smarter than you. So when you go in a room, if you're the smartest person, that's not a good thing. And shout out to David Chacona's in the back. He's actually an artist at Oakland Digital, a muralist. And for one of the first things I told him was lose the goons. Do you want to be with goons or do you want to be with people that can actually elevate you to another level? So he's been hanging out with me for a little bit. He's a great guy. And then of course execute. I mean, having these wonderful ideas are just ideas. And I think it's important that as a journalist, as an entrepreneur, getting a story out there on a blog, on Twitter. There's so many other, I call it new media. I don't call it social media because just because you have 1,000 followers doesn't mean it's social, right? Social means between people.
Yeah.
So one of the things my mentor says, Andreas Wiegand, former chief scientist at Amazon, is he says, Twitter's the illusion of an audience. Because if I tweet, does that mean you actually consumed it? So actually I could tweet and no one would read it. So how is that social? So I think these social media experts, going back to the first slide, have it twisted. They might read a book and think they're a social media expert, but unless you've actually had a campaign that's been successful or failed, right? Because not every campaign works. It's very difficult to consider yourself above anyone else. I think we're all in here equal experts. 3 is very important, being original and authentic. We'll start with that portion. And I think it's the same with really any industry. People can, sense a fake. And so when I mean organic, the growth should be organic. The content you create should be authentic. And you can actually force a like, getting someone to click a like on your Facebook post, but can you engage them? So does anyone here use Facebook and they consider themselves pretty good at it? Okay. How do you get people to like your, let's just start with, you have a business page or is it just personal?
Well, not the business page anymore.
Okay.
But personally, yeah. But for me, at least, I find a niche. Like you were saying, I find people who are looking for, in my example, I find people looking for news that isn't really covered in the major media. And I post that, and there are people who specifically follow my page to see those links and to follow those news stories.
Can you give me a success story of something you've posted in the past 6 months that has really taken off?
Yeah, actually. About a little bit over 6 months ago, I was on the radio and on social media talking a lot about drone warfare and talking a lot about the secret kill list and different things like that. Things that are very big and in the major media now, but 6 months ago, a year, nobody heard about it. I was a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist. And so it was me and actually a specific movement online getting that information into the public sphere so that they demanded it of CNN and MSNBC and Fox News.
Now, how did you know people were consuming that? What were the hits? Were there any likes?
They were clicking like, they were clicking share.
Do you remember how many likes? I'm pushing you. How many likes was it?
How many likes?
Realistically, because I'm going to go back and look.
Like hundreds, depending on the story, hundreds.
Hundreds?
Depending on it's mostly a series, and it's mostly shares, actually. I have people that like to share, they'd rather click share on a bunch of different things than like on a bunch of different things, so it's mostly the shares that show me that the information is really getting out there because it's sharing my photo or my meme that I made.
And I'll get a little bit into metrics later, but thanks for sharing. And that is interesting because that was new, that was original, and it's authentic because you really care about it. And so when I mean by force a like, it really means there's these new things called social campaigns. And I'm sure you've been to a Facebook page where it says, like there's an arrow and it says, click here to like, right? And get 10% off. That's what I call a sellout, because essentially what you're trying to do is bribe someone. And then why would I ever want to go back unless it's for a coupon? So I actually...
AstroTurfing.
For sure. AstroTurfing's...
AstroTurfing is one of those forced grassroots campaigns that try to pitch a certain angle on a certain newsworthy item.
That's a good point. So in that same spirit, having a front splash page, which is a third-party app on Facebook. If anyone's lost, just let me know. But you can download apps on Facebook where it's like a landing page, similar to a web page that claims to engage people by clicking like, and it'll be from an incentive. So 10% off, or whatever. You can create whatever contest. I really believe just keep it organic, keep it real, and if people are really into you, you won't even have to say like my page. I've never in Oakland Digital's existence said like my page once, ever since 2009. And we have 814 real likes, which is more powerful than 8,000 fake likes, or just generated through some fake paid advertising. Creating original content that matters to someone. I mean, in the case of Pushing the Bay, it was young people that loved rap, or older people that might have grown up listening to Mac Mall and Mac Dre that wanted to check out some cool interviews. So that's kind of what the original content comes in. And it matters to a certain group of people. So don't think you have to reach the masses, but start with like reaching one certain group of person or people. So whether it's, what are you into here?
What am I into?
What are you into? Name an interest.
Feminism.
Feminism. A group that's based on that. And what are you into?
I'm also into feminism.
There you go. So creating content around one theme, making it concise, and then growing it from there, as opposed to just reaching for too much, hoping for too much, and never really getting anywhere. And of course, you have to prove it. And that's what I was getting back to the young gentleman in the sports coat, was we have so many analytics and metrics and ways to collect data. If you look at the Facebook page, metrics page, it's so rich with information. You can actually see how many people read your post, viral, organic. And that's how you prove it. And with YouTube, it's, for the most part, it's views. But there was an artist named Shaun. I don't know if you guys have heard of her. I think she had 40 million views. I mean, again, I know it's in the tens of millions of views for her first video. Does anyone know exactly how many views that was? Or an idea? I think it was 30 or 40 million. And so she actually got her deal based off of that at Columbia, because Columbia thought, and again, fact checking, this is just Shaun Tai's personal opinion here. So she got signed based off of her success online in the most general sense. I think it was 34 million views, 40 million views, and so Columbia signed her to a deal. I think it was a 6-figure deal, meaning over 100,000, right? And she sold 3,000 records when her album dropped. And this is all documented. If you think about that, what went wrong is digital literacy. I mean, people think views on YouTube equals money, which it doesn't. I mean,
It's free.
well, it's not that it's free, it's that the people that consume it are people that don't necessarily have money either.
Right.
So if Shaun, I'm assuming her demographic's 13, 18, assumption. Do you know Shaun? You're not in your head? Okay. So I'm 13, 18 is probably her demographic about. And it's like, very drug heavy, very like out there, cartoonish. And so those people don't want to pay for music. What do? They download music. They go to YouTube and download the music, or they go to Real Player and download the music. And that was one of the things that I had struggles with, was monetization, meaning how do you make money on a rap TV show? And that's one of the reasons I also left, was you don't make money unless you're top 2% of rappers.
I just want to ask you, Shaun, so, like, I mean, I know this for myself. I think, like, you stay true to yourself and true to your product, but I just want your opinion about, like, the word organic is being used a lot, I know this lately. So how do you balance being organic and authentic, but it's a numbers game? Everything is a numbers game.
Well, it's a numbers game to who?
Well, I mean, in everything from Hollywood to, I mean, like how many hits you have, how many people have read an article,
Right.
how many people have actually watched the movie trailer, commercial. I mean, everything is a numbers game. I'm just curious about your personal opinion about that.
What I meant by organic was specifically, if I pull up my recent resolution, my Oakland digital page here, and you click on so what I was talking about earlier about, like, you can actually see how many people saw the post, and from one day, 341 people. Like, I consider, for our size group, I consider anything over 150 in a day or two is pretty good, because you got to think 341 people out of 814. Now, it doesn't mean everyone's a fan, of course, I know that, but you start making those numbers of success for yourself, Not everyone's going to be the same. And of course, the insights is what I was talking about. The analytics. I mean, this is pretty amazing of how many tools you can have, from reach. And then it's what's great about Facebook too. I don't invest in Facebook at all, but reach, the number of unique people have seen your post, right? So you actually can see your numbers based off of this, engaged users. And see, what's interesting is this post that we created engaged 89 people according to Facebook. And the funny thing is when we created this post, we didn't think it would engage anyone. And it's actually with David in there, which is funny. It's people making a mural in the back of Oakland Digital, which to me is not like crazy exciting, but if you can engage 89 people, then maybe we should start doing more stuff like that. So you test and you see what's hot. Let me just get back to. So David, you're famous. Yeah. I'm talking about this, okay? And here's another one. 40 people talking about this, and I'm sorting by column here. And then this one happened to be a new TV show I started called Inspirations, and it happened to be Kimberly, who attracted a lot of people. I mean, so it's really, you start doing these experiments, and when I mean experiments, it's not like this scientific thing, it's doing stuff, right? Uploading stuff, doing stuff. And then you'll start seeing a trend of, hey, this is pretty good. And so it looks like we're doing a pretty good job, and you just go through your posts, and so when I say numbers, that's what I'm referring to, is it doesn't have to be 20 million views on YouTube, but it can be 10 views or 12 views or any amount of insignificant views or what you consider insignificant. I don't know if I got off on a tangent there, but yeah.
We're talking about
Analytics, and metrics. Yeah. So really, what the technology world has really given to us is ways to track things that we put up. I mean, think about 10 years ago. What did people use to buy? I mean, how did they get advertised to and marketed to? No, I'm talking about non-technology. Newspapers, billboards,
Word of mouth.
yellow pages, word of mouth. Word of mouth is even more powerful, I feel now. But the point of me bringing that up is that now we can actually, instead of placing an ad in a newspaper and saying, hey, I hope this works, now you can actually see what the numbers are and prove it that way. Right, guys? So that's why I say prove it. And so for you guys, it might be a story that has gained hundreds or thousands of likes. And maybe that's your ammunition to bring it to someone else higher, right? Someone from a CNN or whatever, to go, hey, you guys should take a look at this. And before, you would just have your word or a referral. But now you actually have some traction. And that's actually how Push the Bay got to the John Madden video game release party with VH1 and BET, was they saw our numbers and they invited us. So that was a good example of where this comes in. So quote number 5, and this is my last quote, but I have a lot of other things to talk about. When and if possible, separate professional and private activity. I mean, how many people live by this or do not live by this? Like, why don't we start with you? What do you do or what don't you do?
I have 2 separate Twitter accounts.
Okay.
And I reserve my Facebook just for like personal stuff.
Okay.
And later on, when I'm somewhat big professionally, have some semblance of a career,
Yeah.
I'll have a separate page on Facebook too. So, is that what you meant to say?
Oh, absolutely. That's a perfect example. What I do personally is I only put up my work-related activities. So like if you guys friend me, I have my Facebook at the end. If you friend me, it'll look like literally I work every day. I mean, everyone does, right? But I used to be more like you, but I think increasingly now that employers are looking at your Facebook page, now that people are looking at your LinkedIn when they Google you. I mean, if you haven't Googled yourself, now this is more digital literacy, not so much social media, but if you type in your name, you want the first to be your website, you want the second to be your LinkedIn. So my first is the website, second is LinkedIn. Now that's pretty common for most people with an online presence. And so You want your LinkedIn to be there because it's high in the rankings. And if you also look at what else is there, is Twitter and all the other things that you're on. But maybe you don't have all of that, but you have to start somewhere. So if you know you're going to be doing it big, you should probably start using your Facebook more in a professional way, because it is very difficult to, you can't backtrack, right? Because it just keeps going forward. So when I say this, I'll get to it in a second. When I say this, it's when and if possible, which for me, my Facebook is very work driven. And this is just my personal opinion.
So when it comes to things never, quote unquote, never being deleted from Facebook.
Absolutely.
Is that, I mean, so let's say I have a profile that I've had since I was 17, and those kind of pictures I posted at 17 years old, I don't want to post at 23 years old, or I don't want to have available to people when I'm looking for jobs. What's your strategy for it? Should I just create a whole new profile, or?
Well, I actually talked to this about a data expert from Palantir, which is one of the biggest big data companies. They do like big, governmental work in data, like some serious stuff. And he told me, well, you can't delete. And do you guys know why? Who uses B of A online or any bank online? Probably everyone. If one server went down, there's 2 to back that up. And if those goes down, there's 2 more to back it up. So how can there be delete? Like, by the very nature of data creation and the rules of it, it cannot be deleted. I know I'm getting a little matrix here, but if you think about it, you can't delete data because there's backups infinitely. So I've had stuff from the 2000s that I don't want up, but it's up. I mean, now I know. So now I'm going to teach others to take control of what they put online. So to answer your question, creating additional Facebook pages will not matter. They know your IP, they know the computer you're working from, they know more about you than you know about yourself socially. They, meaning people that work at Facebook.
Oh, okay.
The company, the corporate. And again, what's interesting is David Chacon is actually creating a mural in the back of our office talking about this exactly, is that what Oakland Digital is focused on is not teaching you how to use Facebook, but it's how can you use platforms that exist that are free to improve your life. So it's never about Facebook, it's never about Twitter, because in 10 years, like I was myspace.com/MCT. That's still up. I have 40,000 friends. I've never even logged in. It's ridiculous. But the point of me saying that is there's a MySpace, there's a Friendster, there's a Find-A-Pics, there's a probably 30 or 40, 100 millions out there. I can't even say. So it's not about the platforms, guys. But if right now we know that everyone's pretty much on Facebook and it's the place that people go, that's where you should be creating stuff.
So, like, are you using like your name for every type of profession?
Yes.
So the difference, like what I'm dealing with now, is that I have an active name, union name that I use. But then when I
I'm sorry, you have an active?
No, active.
Active.
I have a union name that I use that's separately from my regular work name. But what I'm torn in right now is that, like, I was talking to the director of the Actors Fund in LA, and when you kind of in between work and you're going back into a corporate environment and you need to have all LinkedIn and all that, you're using your regular legal name, it's just kind of confusing because you're using the same type of platforms but with different names. And I haven't really ran into anyone with that situation except people that are more in that, position, as opposed to like journalists who are, I even asked Jeff, he's using the same name.
Well, I guess my question to you would be non-technology related, like how serious are you about acting? I mean, think about entertainment people and musicians, Usher, right? So if your name's big enough, you would probably promote that.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then, and you're not, So my point is making a decision.
Yeah.
And that's what this is really about is that make that decision. It's almost like when we help businesses, before we even get there, shouldn't they have a business plan? So, I mean, I think there's a lot of things that tech does not so well is it gets people to just rush into doing things without fully understanding it. The one thing I always hear is, man, I'm gonna sign up for everything, man. I'm gonna get my Bandcamp, my MySpace, my this, and they're all weak. So essentially, you come off as a weak artist. I'm talking about rappers now. I'm getting back to my rap thing, but you don't want to come off as too scattered. You want to come off as pretty potent. Solid. And then so this is my contact info. I also wanted to show you something else, but if you guys want to email me directly, my website's there, Twitter and Facebook, and I'm very transparent about all my stuff here, so you can hit me up and I'll get
Shaun,
back
are
to
you
you.
going to talk about Oakland Digital Board?
Yeah, I was going to introduce, is there any graphic designers in here that, okay, we see one. I'm also going to talk about the Inspire Oakland Billboard competition, because maybe you guys might want to enter, and I think you guys should. So this is my contact info, so definitely shoot me an email.
Do you have a card?
I don't give out cards,
Oh.
because I feel like if you want to talk, you'll probably just email me.
See, that's something, because everybody keeps telling me I need to make business cards for this, that, and the other thing, for networking.
Yeah,
and
that's a
whatnot.
great point,
But if
you
I
know.
have a website, a Twitter account, a LinkedIn account, and everything,
Yeah.
why?
I wouldn't discourage that, and I think I applaud whoever told you to get that. I think what they're trying to get to is being professional is a good thing,
Yeah.
which I completely get, and I respect that. I think from talking to people that I admire and I respect, no one uses business cards because it's too impersonal. Like, it's just like, I know that you care more about our working relationship if you email me.
Rather than just take home a thing and leave it on the desk.
Right, like I asked Chewy Gomez, what do you do with business cards? He said, I use them as coasters. I asked Reed Hoffman, the guy from LinkedIn, he said, I just toss them out when I walk out the event. Just throws them out. Oh, well, that's on. Erase that from the tape. Sorry. Erase the last Chewy Gomez and Reed Hoffman.
So I wanted to ask you, Shaun, so last night in my web reel class, we all had to do elevator pitches for what we all do. And there's
That's good.
everything from animators to editors to writers and that. But everyone kind of contemplated back and forth. We debated about what you just said. A business card, a demo reel, your DVD, your URL. And it just, don't you think it just depends on what the CEO or the agent, if they want, what is hot at the moment, what they want to receive? Because there's some people
Right.
that, you know.
Well, there's two things that you touched upon. If you're in a meeting that was scheduled, the implication is that you already have their email.
No,
So,
an elevator pitch.
oh, so you're saying if you met someone blindly?
Yeah, you're meeting, you have from the elevator pitch, you have 30 seconds
Right.
from the lobby to the top floor to get the deal, okay? And
Which never would happen, but I mean,
It's not getting the deal. You got to
You're
get
pitching,
interested
yeah,
enough
and-
to come back to you.
Right.
that's right. That's right. So
Right.
so to answer.
We saw professional
yeah.
examples of it, but we also had to do it last night in class.
Right.
But what I'm asking you is, if you were doing an elevator pitch, how would you, if you don't use a business card, how would you?
I would not do an elevator pitch unless there was a meeting. Unless there was a meeting that, the best example, Craig Newmark does Craigslist. He started Craigslist. He's Craig Newmark. I had a meeting with him in San Francisco at his favorite cafe. Very genuine, great guy. And he said, give me the pitch. Like, I sat down, he said, give me the pitch. And it was a pitch to help our small business program. In that case, it makes sense, but I wouldn't just go up to Jeff or John and say, hey, look, check this out, 30 seconds, bam, boom, give him a card. It'd probably be like, who the hell are you? So my best suggestion is get their contact info and meet with them at a different time, when they actually have time to digest what you're thinking and saying, and they can really, that's my suggestion. I think a business card may be helpful for just meeting other people, friends, but professionally, I don't know. I haven't personally ever been successful with business cards, so why would I use it? But I don't want to, please get business cards if you feel that's going to help you. But I've been asked that quite a bit.
So talk about graphics a little bit, because
Yeah.
what I want people to also think about in the class is, this is about journalism and stuff.
Sure.
We're talking about blogging, but these things have to kind of look attractive too, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would say that graphic design and high quality design is what drives any form of online thing that's been created, whether that's a good video with a nice logo, a cool background, having a nice video screenshot here of particular things, having a nice website with high resolution photos. This is all Oakland Digital and stuff that I'm involved with. Having, that's his name, Steve Grove. He actually did Obama's first social media interview. He was our keynote at the city of Oakland. So that's what Oakland Digital does. We do a lot, but having high quality stuff out there is really important. You know, if they have their billboard, how do you do a nice collage? How do you get high resolution photos? How do you put that together? And it's really not easy. I'd lie. I'd just say start creating things, but make sure there's quality control, whether it's the content, especially graphics. Having a support team around you, like send it to someone. Say, hey, what do you think about this? And make sure they're not a yes man, because yes man can kill you. I mean, you want people that really care about what you're doing.
I got stories on that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want yes men around. Your Facebook page, is the cover page something that's high resolution? And what this sign says here is, I got my game from Oakland Digital. Be the first of your friends to like this post. It's a play on post. Like my post, and it's on a post. So really having clever things like that. I just presented in Berkeley yesterday for Inspire Berkeley. I'm going to present at Inspire Oakland in a second. High quality photos. Just a lot of good content. This is the mural that David's working on in the back. It's pretty cool. So yeah, if you have a website, is it clean? Like my site's very photo intensive. He's an advisor. He's a good friend. I know he got into an alleged scuffle, but yeah, that's pretty messed up. But that's trying not to be political here. And so, just having, there's when I was the social media journalist with Jarrell Wright, who's no longer on the team, but presenting yourself in a good way, talking about companies that you've been a part of or started. Here's some companies I started here. So I think just to Jeff's point, being really focused on high quality content that is original and authentic is extremely important. So I'm going to go through this.
Charlotte got a question.
Oh, sorry. Let me just do a full screen.
For those who are not computer literate,
Yes.
are that's not in graphic design, but want to do things. Because I'm an artist myself.
What kind of artist?
Musician.
Okay.
So basically, I'm not too good with computers. I don't be on the computers that much. I'm more out in the streets and stuff like that. But how would you go about, like, if you want to make a collage, or if you want to make a website like that, or if you want to post pictures? Is there any type of website base that can help you do that? Or
Absolutely.
People?
Two things. We work with a company called Wix.com, Wix.com. They do free websites. And they look, awesome websites. I did this website in like half a day. What is it, digital? So I did this website in half a day, and it's free. So, what I mean by free is you can go on right now, you can have your website in 5 minutes. So it's Wix.com, and it's HTML5, so it's slides and stuff. Now, mind you, I had the content, so that I don't want to mislead you.
Yeah.
I had the content to go in it.
Okay, that's right. How do you put the content in?
But that's what Wix does, is Wix is the layout.
Okay.
Again, I don't work at Wix, they're just a partner of Oakland Digital's, but I literally did this and I loved it. And so it's pretty cool.
It's just drag and drop, right?
It's drag and drop, but you have to have content.
Oh, yeah.
So going back to the small business thing, if you don't have a plan yet, do that first.
But you can always get your digital camera, take a few pictures.
Yeah.
Use your phone,
Or
take
video.
a few pictures. Right.
Yeah, I would just say this, that having a bad Twitter account, having a bad any account, without carefully thinking it through is worse than not having it up. So I'm kind of torn there. Yeah.
Shaun, do you format like your website like for iPhones? Like do you format it?
I don't, because the people that access ours are not digitally literate, so they'll be on their PCs at home for the most part. But you should. But we're catered to the more underserved communities that use regular computers.
And talk about the organization.
Yeah. I mean, any more questions about these slides first? Because I want to get,
Yeah, I was just wondering, because you mentioned having a bad Twitter. is worse than not having any at all. But
Absolutely.
What would like constitute a bad Twitter?
Very good. Very no. I feel like this is an Oakland digital class now. This is what we teach. I mean, this is for example, Oakland Digital's Twitter. I would consider this a good. I want to say it's excellent, but it's good. So you have the tweets, how many tweets you've tweeted. You have how many people you're following and how many followers you have. So you notice the ratio from following to followers. Celebrities, like a Stephen Curry, for example. I don't know if, I might be in the wrong class, but Stephen Curry is a player on the Warriors. Celebrities like to have it where they're not following anyone and thousands of millions of people following them. It's the illusion that they're famous. What I believe Stephen Curry, he's an excellent basketball player, for sure. He is. I mean, he's a great player. Great guy, for sure. But here, we do a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you follow me, I'll follow you back. And I believe that builds organically because, well, let's step back. I don't consume Twitter, so I don't read other tweets. I manage this Twitter account. Does that go over anyone's head, or do you guys get that? So in other words, like, I'll have TweetDeck open. You guys know what TweetDeck is, right?
No.
Okay, so TweetDeck, the easiest way, it helps you monitor tweets. So you can just go here, and it looks like this. So I'd have one row for ODALC, I'll have one row for Inspire Oakland, I'll have one, and for a lot of you guys, I know you guys are way past this, but Inspire Oakland, Oakland Digital, ODALC, whatever. And I'll reply to those people like I did here, like Nikki Nunez. She promoted our website, so I retweeted that. So all I do is what I would consider a well-managed account, and this is a subjective opinion, is 1-to-1 ratio. You don't have like 50 million tweets or 50,000 tweets and like 4 followers, which means you're talking to nobody, right? I mean, it's kind of common sense things. And also interacting with people that support you. And so Nikki here, Linda here, even for me here, partner organizations here, promoting other people's events or blogs or journalists. Yeah, Oakland Wiki there. They actually said, check us out at the library, and they tagged us in there. I was working that day, so I couldn't, but.
Oh, the 20th last week, Saturday?
I'm assuming. I just retweet. So whatever includes us. Here's MC Hammer tweeted us, which helps with 4 million followers, or 3 million or whatever. Great guy too. Yelp, we went to a Yelp event. So the point is like, is it active, and what's the frequency, right? Some days we tweet once, some days we tweet twice. Some people swear by more than 5 or 10. I think 1 or 2 is too many. Like, unless you're a star, like a celebrity, I would keep it. Don't bother people. Does that help at all? And then having a nice background, having a nice icon, and those other kind of more graphical things. That help? Okay. So the project that Jeff helped us with is called Inspire Oakland. But just going back to who we are, we're Oakland Digital. We bring really great people, technology, and ideas to Oakland. We work with Google. We work with Yahoo, eBay, PayPal to bring them, Square, to bring them to Oakland and teach small businesses and people like yourself some great technology that's out there. So Square, those little things that you use credit cards for, we gave out 1,000 last year at the City Hall event that we have with Mayor Kwan every year. And that was when they weren't really known as much. So actually 2 years ago we did that. So doing some really great innovative things with technology for underserved communities. You guys don't have computers, but there's a forum here, and I'll go back to this link. If you're interested, you should download this. But essentially what this is your billboard design on a real billboard. And the concept is, what about Oakland inspires you? And so the 2 purposes of this is that the winners of this get on billboards, but they also get a portfolio piece. So you're a designer?
Yeah.
So you bring a design portfolio to an employer, and you might have some work from school. but do you have a piece that is in the community that's already been up?
I've already done it.
You've done that, so a lot of people have. What was the piece?
It was for the gun buyback program.
Nice.
Youth Uprising last year.
Right, and so that's Keith Carson? So
What?
you work with Keith Carson?
I work with Paula Simmons.
Okay, cool, very cool. That's a great thing. And so for more of I would call this more for a marketing or creative agency background that you want to get into, this would be really important because you're working with CVS Outdoor, you're working with Oakland Digital, you're working with the mayor's office, Peralta as well. So that's kind of what we want to do. We really want to inspire civic pride through design. We want people to love Oakland. So this is what I just wanted to show you what it would look like. Like if you were, as an art director, got hired by a Starbucks and they said, do this billboard, you'd see this. Without getting into details, it's important to note that this isn't to scale. So designing something to scale, something that is easily digestible in 2 to 4 seconds. You guys know billboards, right? You have a few words. So this is what this is in design. So this is Eric Walden's design from 2010. Now, who's seen a digital billboard? Okay. Where they change. So there's a big difference here, and I'll just say it, is that the resolution here is only 720 pixels. It's very small. You know that's small, right? For a 48-foot billboard. And the reason is it's LED. So it's not printed and rolled on, it's LED lights. So we just wanted to show the difference there, and it looks beautiful. This is on Highway 80, sponsored by CBS Outdoor. 4 million people see that a month. So to have your design seen by 4 million people, being able to include it on portfolio is why you guys should enter. It's free. You don't have to pay for this. This is from 2011, a winner. This is more of like a playful, fun perspective of Oakland. And this is from 2012, Laney college student, Jessica Martin. And this was her perspective of what Oakland is. It was Lake Merritt, kind of more of an outsider's perspective because she's from Argentina. So if someone from Argentina that comes here, this is what Oakland is to her. And then we actually expanded to Hayward last year. And Corey Bardwell actually has a great job as a graphic designer now in less than 6 months, using this as a portfolio piece and with his great skills. Here's how we judge it, is how city-centric is it? Is it something that represents Oakland? Is it easy to read? Is it something that I could drive past and I could easily read, inspire Oakland? Is it original, or did you just bite it? Did you go online and right-click Google images? It's funny, but some people do it. Google Oakland tree, paste, font, Helvetica, inspire Oakland. Overall aesthetics, layout, font, colors, illustration, all of these things make up the aesthetics. And then of course, professionalism. It's something that you can present to a creative agency. And actually it's really interesting, Clorox is working with us this year for digital marketing team. So Jeff, what we started together is getting a lot bigger. Hayward was really nice, yeah. So just wanted to say thank you guys, and going back to that link, if anyone is anyone interested in that potentially? Yeah, and the chances of winning are very high because I think we have like 45 students this year. So if you guys enter, that's pretty high chances to be on a billboard. The billboard's worth $5,000. So you definitely want to download this, guys.
Can I put your PowerPoints up on my faculty webpage?
Let me modify them first.
Okay,
Yeah.
so email them. Yeah,
I will.
Modify what you want up there.
Yep.
And then email it to me. I'll stick it on the.
Sure.
faculty.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. And this is just a PDF pops up. You can save this. But anyone have any questions about the Inspire Oakland first? Yeah.
What's the deadline?
So on this PDF that you guys can't download, it's actually, let's see here, it is March 29th at 6 p.m. You have a month. So you have time. And I can just kind of go through it here. It has to include the words Inspire Oakland, what about Oakland inspires you. If you use people in it, like pictures of your friends, you have to get release forms, which you can download. Someone submitted one with Tupac and Bruce Lee. You can't do that because they're copyrighted, right? And so the submission format's these 4 things at the bottom. I know you guys can't read it here, but it's the design 5x7. There's the specs there, a picture of yourself, a statement of the design, like what about it inspires you and inspires Oakland. and then your contact info. So it's really not hard. This is an open to the public thing. So what's hard is coming up with the concept. You know, like a really good concept that isn't cluttered, that people will get. Yeah, that people will get. And even like this one right here, it's more of like a social justice kind of view right here. But I thought, and that was actually hand sketched. So he hand sketched it, and then he took a photo of it, and then sent in as the specs as we requested. He won top, I think he won 3rd place or something. Andy Pang of Laney. So believe me, guys, it could be you on the billboard, and usually people charge to be in these things. So you guys should definitely check it out. There's no fee, no fee. But you have to make sure that you do those 4. If you miss one of these, you're out.
So we'll get that information up on my faculty page.
Absolutely, absolutely, or this. But I'll do both. So this or through Jeff's.
So we don't want to keep you here all day, but about 5 minutes of
Yeah, 5 minutes
questions
Q&A.
if we have. You know, anything you want to ask? Social media, Inspire Oakland, digital stuff.
Yeah.
Go for it. Sean's not an expert, but he's the man.
I'm not an expert, but we just do a lot of things for the community, and they somehow work. So, yes. From the front row.
Yeah, I have a question about the city of Oakland. I've
Yes.
lived here for 19 years, and I was just wondering, I read recently some city like Charlotte, North Carolina, went Wi-Fi for the whole city
Yeah.
free.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if, Infinity or Comcast or anybody like that would ever allow anything like that to happen here in
Yeah.
Oakland.
That's a great question. Comcast is one of our partners, and
Oh.
Xfinity. And I was actually just at the Comcast headquarters in Livermore last Friday, with the head of public policy, a good friend of mine named Ken. So I know they want to do things, but it comes down to money. I mean, it's expensive. And I don't think the city has, I mean, Jeff, you know more than I do. The city's not just going to.
Yeah. They got other priorities.
Yeah, but when I was in Mountain View, I pulled out my laptop and it said Google Wi-Fi. Pretty cool. So Google can do
One
it.
day.
One day. But I think that's a great question that we as a community should address to not just Mayor Kwan, but the city council and everyone else.
So for your organization, I mean, how did you get so many followers? How many of those people actually cause you don't really interact.
We don't, well, we just retweet. We retweet.
You retweet, okay. How, do you know how often or how beneficial your Twitter account is to your work?
And that tracking Twitter is difficult in the sense that there's a lot of groups that do sentiment analysis. You guys have heard of that, right?
No.
So these groups will look up David Jacob mural, and they'll associate words with happiness and good and bad, and they do a report on the sentiment of the people. So supposedly a lot of movie people do this, so before a movie drops, or I'm sorry, a movie comes out, before a movie comes out, they'll actually do these kind of Twitter analysis, sentiment feelings, to see if it will be a bust. And apparently it came out once and it was pretty accurate that it was a bust. But what do I know? That's just, I don't really specialize in that, but
Okay.
So our growth was just organic. We just started putting up good content. And when you put up good content and keywords, right? See, something we didn't talk about is Instagram too.
Oh, yeah.
That's really big too. That's all hashtags, right?
Yeah. Oh, pretty much. So if I
And good photos.
Good photos. So basically, because right now, my personal account is 400 people, and I just talk about, I'm at this bar, blah, blah. And then my business one has 6 followers.
Right.
So really, if I were to, really it's just about doing good stuff. The more you put that out and actually put the hashtags on there and put, whatever marketing you can do for Twitter, you can kind of guarantee
Right.
a little bit of boost in your.
I would also say, just going back to our slides of just being authentic and original and having original content, and also getting people that are bigger than you to shout you out.
Yeah.
Like Hammer, I think I can pull it up, but And this is interesting because it's kind of journalistic, right? With the news here. I don't even know how much he's tweeted. So see, here's Hammer. He has 3.1 million followers. But one thing I like about what Hammer does is that he actually follows a lot of people too. I mean, 48,000, that's a lot. So if there's an expert, I would call Hammer the expert, if there was one. So let me just see if my stuff is up here. See, so he actually really is doing a lot of the nonprofit community things, but he also retweets a lot of people like Mark Benioff, who's a Salesforce CEO. So he's really heavily into Stephen Curry. He's really into tweeting about really, really good things that he thinks people would really be into. So it looks like he's tweeted quite a bit since. Let's see how far it is. So he tweets a lot. Man.
Obviously, he's got a staff doing that.
No.
That's what I was.
Hammer, no.
He does it himself.
I know for 110% fact he does it himself.
And it's that extra 10%
He has a
that
lot
can get-
of free time.
So here, see Shaun Tai. So if you look here, I said
That's pretty cool.
a true inspiration of one of my heroes, brush him off. Because this was right when the news came out about the whole scuffle. But look, 28 retweets and 11 favorites. That's pretty good considering I'm just the normal, I'm not a MC Hammer. But through he's the man. But through his network, you can see it started with him saying hi to me. Someone else said yellow and black. I love it. And there's some other things that are more, that's what Twitter's for. But even Twitter now you can download your archive. So look, no one's innocent. We've all posted things we don't want up, but you can control what you do now, I think, guys. So please don't hurt them.
All right, any last questions for Shaun?
I'm too legit to quit, for sure.
Yeah.
Let me just open this up real quick.
Mark, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you make a living?
How does he make a living?
How do you?
Everything is professional.
Who pays you?
Where do I work?
Yeah.
Well, I work in City Hall in San Francisco. It's one job. I have other gigs. This is a nonprofit, so this
Right.
is
So that's right. This is a nonprofit.
And
So
I
I'm
also
wondering how you
I also have my
make money.
Z2I Media films too. So I'm getting hired by CNN of Argentina again. So it's a yearly gig. Contract work. You got to make a
So it's
living.
all contract work.
I have one full time and then one contract. Yeah.
And then you have the nonprofit.
Yeah. So, but you do need to pay the bills. But as far as Hammer has a living too. I mean, he works too a lot, quite a bit. But you integrate this into your business schedule. And see, that's what I was saying. You have to decide what you want to do because you have to put effort towards one of those. If you think being, a personal social media person, just kind of gossiping is productive, then you do that. But for me, it's very work driven. Even posting MC Hammer stuff, he's donated to Oakland Digital. I mean, he's a business partner and a friend. So you get what I'm saying? They have to connect to somehow the work world too. So I think that's I just tweeted some movie director because I'm doing a documentary. So even though it's social business.
It's partnering up.
It's partnering up. It's networking, but not in the generic sense. Network.
Business cards.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could, you mentioned you had the film company, if you could just talk a little bit, what you're doing with that.
Yeah. Well, what happened was Facebook, I'll make it short. Facebook had a thing called an incubator. You try to use words that you guys know what an incubator is?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Incubator that I believe it was 20 startups where they gave each startup $50,000. And it was like a $20 million, again, I don't know that this was in 2009, it was a $20 million fund. And so they needed someone to film the people pitching and their workshops for 3 months. So I got hired there. And it wasn't by me being a filmmaker, it was my friend got hired by someone putting that together. And then after that, I ended up getting hired for a Facebook gig with Mark Zuckerberg. And then since then, I've just been people's just like, hey, I'll pay you. So I'm like, sure. That's the truth. It's not like I necessarily love doing it, but
Well, one thing builds into another.
yeah, I think it's just me doing something to the best that I can for someone that needs it. Very humanistic, basic level. And because of that, I've been very lucky to continue to get hired. So.
I was gonna ask you how you do that, so I can do it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it just happens.
You know, it's like all the social stuff that I have is just, you know, this was a PayPal thing. Rick Kwan's the news anchor. Just kind of getting out there and, but knowing what you're gonna do. You know, like someone came out to me, he's like, yeah, Shaun, like I know you do video. I was like, yeah, I do video. That's how I make a living. You know, like.
Somebody back here? Okay, one more, last one.
Cool.
No, and I'm on your website, and I'm really impressed, and I'm part of.
I'm sorry, which website?
Of Oakland Digital.
Okay.
And so, I'm part of something called Open Oakland.
Okay.
And Steve Spiker, I don't know if you know the kid, guy.
Not familiar.
One of the things we're doing, I'm in one of the groups, is that we're looking at the digital divide in Oakland. And so I didn't really know that you guys would be focused on that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Talking, a little more about that.
Well, definitely for the social media for small business event, which is at City Hall, and it teaches 250 entrepreneurs and small businesses. That's when the guy from Google Plus came out. We had Yahoo the first year, and it's really some cool technology and cool digital platforms that can help businesses. So I think that's similar to what you're saying. We're really focused on the digital education, digital literacy, not so much the data, which is extremely important. In fact, my mentor is a chief scientist at Amazon.
So we're definitely interested in finding out more organizations who
Yeah.
are really trying to close that gap.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, definitely want to connect. Shoot me an email, for sure. Thank you.
Well, Shaun, thank you. I mean, seriously, that was great.